And the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. So be it, Jedi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Thursday night. It is time for the Geek News Now Cantina Happy Hour. I am your host, David. We are here to talk about all things Star Wars, our love of Star Wars and the universe that Mr. Lucas created and why we love it. With me, as always, is Debbie. How are you, Debbie?
I am good.
Oh, just good?
Well, it's
not
only
like
Thursday, so I'll be much better tomorrow.
Oh, come on. I like Thursdays because that's just like it's an 8-hour shift until the weekend and I'm done. That's all it is. Also with us this week is Cam. He's with us almost every week. There's been a few misses, but almost every week. He's frequent traveler.
I do my best. I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I am it's Thursday. I'm good. I like Thursday.
It certainly is.
I'm an 8-hour shift away from the weekend, and it's a beautiful thing. Well, tonight, and just a programming note, believe me, I'm working on a new intro. I started working on it Monday. I was editing all day Monday, and then then life happened. I will have a new intro eventually, though. I'm working on it. So, we're talking Clone Wars tonight. We have been doing our favorite arcs of the Clone Wars. Just the favorite, not necessarily the standalone episodes, but more the ones that tell a big comprehensive story. Hi, Chewie.
Yes, she made an early entrance tonight.
Chewie's tail's in the way. Let's see. So, look at this. We have Gene Fairbrother. If I say your name wrong, I apologize. Hello from San Antonio. How's it going? We're glad you're here. So anyway, this week's arc we're talking about, and this was Cam's idea, we are discussing Darth Maul's, and I don't know that the arc had a title necessarily, just Darth Maul on Mandalore. We'll just say that.
It does have a title, but I don't remember what it was.
I can't recall either.
The arc starts, I think, in the first or second episode of season 5, and then you don't hear anything of it until episode 14, and then it's 14, 15, 16.
Yep. Which is where we're picking up, because if that's season 5, let's see, that one was that the one that started with Maul?
Yes.
And because that was like an arc into itself where oh no, that was that season 4? Was that the season finale where Savage found him?
Yeah, the season 4 finale, I believe, was Maul coming back.
Okay.
And then season 5 was Maul let loose.
Yeah. He was hunting Kenobi. It was
Kenobi!
He was hunting Kenobi. He was whatever. It was him and Savage and then they get to Mandalore. They didn't really get to they were found by Mandalore. I always harken back to that scene from the second Aliens, the second Alien movie, where the deep salvage team finds Ripley and she's asleep, and there goes our salvage. So, but found by Death Watch. We get Pre Vizsla in this one. We get Bo-Katan in this one. A lot of names in this one that were that are big now. That especially with the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. So, or with the what do they call it? The Filoni universe, something along that lines.
I don't know. I feel like calling it that's kind of disingenuous, but that's just
Yeah,
me.
it's Star Wars. It's the Star Wars universe. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but we're gonna retcon the sequel trilogy and no. We don't play that game here. It's all
Nope.
good. It's all Star
It
Wars.
it's the job of the EU to make the movies better. So
There you go. And from what I've seen too, your I saw your wasn't necessarily a review on
Shadow of the Sith.
Shadow of the Sith. Yes, yes, I'm anxious to read that one now. I really
Yeah.
need to. I need to start reading again.
Yeah, I think I'm on somewhere around chapter 30, 31. It's
Okay, so you're like halfway done then.
yeah, it's pretty good. So I am enjoying it.
My
Good.
birthday's coming up. Maybe I should ask for that for my birthday. That would be a good birthday present.
When is your birthday?
The 29th of this month. It's
Okay.
coming up pretty quick. Actually, no, I've got a whole bunch of more Legos that just came out, so gotta have them. You see them? Gotta keep up. Anyway, all right. So we get Savage, we get Maul. They are collected by Death Watch, and really, this first episode and possibly even the second, all three of these episodes. There was an interview with George Lucas a while back, and this is like a while back. So he's talking about the first movie, and one of the things he says is we want to tell a story, but we want to do it fast so that you get everything and it's more exciting that way. When they filmed the first Death Star battle, that was one of the things that he did was he took a bunch of footage from old World War II aerial dogfights, and he said, this is what I want it to look like. And it was all just a bunch of, 2-second, he's flying this way, and ooh, he's shooting up here, and oh, he's doing this and over here. And if you watch the trench run, it's a lot like that. It's very quick, it's very fast paced, but it tells a good story. And you've got this same thing, I think, with this arc, to where it's like they find Maul. Okay, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, so we're going to team up with Maul. And then Maul's like, okay, well, we don't have an army yet. We've got to get Black Sun and the Pikes and the Hutts. I think was that the second episode. I think they went after the Hutts. But they were just, they were all over the place, and it was like they were moving, and it was like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this, and now we have Mandalore. Here we are. Thoughts?
Go ahead, Debbie. I heard your lips part, and I was like, oh nope.
Oh.
I seen you start, and I was like, oh wait. What I found interesting, well, throughout not just this episode, but throughout the 3-story arc, was Death Watch had a plan that they didn't tell Maul, and then Maul had a plan that he didn't tell, Death Watch. So it's true. Enemy of my enemy, or whatever you just said.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, there you go. But they're both going for 2 different outcomes, because
and it's funny you should bring that up, because besides watching my Star Wars that I need to weekly, I'm also binging the Sopranos right now. So a lot of that is, okay, Tony's got this going on over here, but Junior's got something going on over here, and they're kind of both working to the same goal with different outcomes. So I'm just it's like a mom movie.
Vizsla wants to command or rule Mandalore. Maul wants to be the head honcho for the crime syndicate. So yeah, they're just working together. I mean, Vizsla, he wants to kill both Maul and Savage, and Maul, I don't really think he cares as long as he gets what he wants, no matter what happens. So
yeah, definitely.
As long as it works in his favor, he doesn't really care.
And that was an interesting thing about Maul, because Maul, when he returned, it was all about we've got to get Kenobi, we've got to get Kenobi, we've got to get Kenobi. And with this one, it seemed like it was more, well, we need to build our empire. We need to build something that's, and he mentioned it several times. We got to build something that's big, but the Republic won't be able to touch, and we need to crime syndicate. We need to make our stake, and we got to have all this big stuff. So it's kind of interesting how his goals changed slightly.
Well, I mean,
sorry.
Go ahead, Cam.
Well, I was just gonna say, yes, it's something I found pretty interesting about Maul and his story in these episodes is how reactive his plan is. He did, because their ship was just kind of drifting along in space before the Mandalorians found them. So he gets taken in by them, and now suddenly, okay, well, now I can do this. And then, this and this happened. He's like, okay, well, now I can do this.
Yeah.
He didn't have any kind of grand plan to get in there and take over Mandalore. It was more that the opportunity presented itself, and he just went right for it.
He acted upon it. Hi, Stephanie. We see you out there.
Yeah, Maul's always got Kenobi
It's
somewhere in the back of his head, because no matter what, he's bound and determined to get that revenge on Kenobi. And if the opportunity, lands in his hands, he's going to take it. So yeah, his in this story arc, his first motivation was building that empire. But when the opportunity arose to use Satine because she was imprisoned, he could use her as bait to bring Kenobi in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I watched this entire arc, and as soon as I was done, I was like, all right, I got to go watch Rebels. I got to go watch Twin Sons just to, I got to see it all finished. And I did. I was like, I'm against my better judgment. I went and watched an episode of Rebels. I'm sorry, Debbie. But it's a good one. It was a good
I like
one.
Rebels.
It was fine. It was just not what I expected.
We like Rebels around here.
Well, just like Clone Wars. I mean, the first couple seasons were a little rough here. Well, especially the first season, because Ezra was probably just as annoying or more annoying than Ahsoka was in the beginning.
I would say just as.
Yeah, so once we got over that little hump and we brought in all these other characters and you got to know them a little bit better, then, I love Rebels. So I don't know what the hell you two talking about.
Well, no, what us two? Don't
like said, come on.
Don't group me in with him. No, well, yeah, but Debbie, you're absolutely right. I think that the big turn for Ezra's character during season 1 was whenever he finally felt the power of the dark side for the first time. Whenever he, sent that big monster after the Inquisitor. I mean, it scared him, and you could see that it changed him moving forward in the story. So, yeah, and that's something I like about Rebels. With a shorter overall show, because Rebels was only 4 seasons as opposed to Clone Wars is like 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
They have the opportunity to tell that more concise story. So that there, I think, is where that good writing really shines through in the series.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say probably 6 for the Clone Wars, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first season of Clone Wars was a shortened season, so it wasn't even a full. I think it was only 13 episodes. I don't think
Gotcha.
It was 26. And I may be wrong. Maybe I was something else I was watching that. Oh, you know what? I am wrong. That was The Office. I was watching The Office, and first season of The Office. I'm sorry.
That's quite a pair of shows to get mixed up.
What the hell?
I knew there was something that I had watched just recently, and I was like, my gosh, that was a quick first season. I was like, oh, it was okay. It was only half a season.
Now I'm just imagining The Office's intro, but with all Star Wars characters.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
That should there we go. That's our intro right there.
Oh boy,
I'll work on that one. So anyway, so they take Maul takes Mandalore, and he basically uses. It's almost like he says with Vizsla, he's like, I'm gonna let you run Mandalore, but I'm gonna be in the back pulling the strings. I'm the spider on the web, and you're just on the web, and I'm telling you what to do.
He's the puppet master.
And of course, the whole time you still get the Vizsla and his minions, and he's like, no, once we've got it, I'm gonna kill him. We'll once we've capped, because okay, so the whole plan was to have Black Sun and the Pikes, and it wasn't the Hutts, it was somebody else. There was Black Sun and the Pikes, for at least for what I can remember, and they were going to rob things and steal things and basically destabilize everything. Then you have Pre Vizsla step in and say, "Oh well, we'll save you, and we're going to stop the bad guys from looting the cities and whatnot." And then everybody is on his side, and everybody basically converts. Oh, he's a bad guy, but he's really good because he's saving our world, and he's really helpful. And the thing with it was that he kept saying, once we catch Maul, then we'll execute him in public, and I win. I have Mandalore, and we've killed the bad guys, and everything's good. So,
oh, he was so.
Pre Vizsla was kind of a character that I love to hate. I mean,
you're supposed to. He's a bad guy. You're supposed to hate him. It's like the same thing with what's her name, the Inquisitor from Kenobi,
Reva.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh, I can't stand her. I don't like her," and it's like, you're supposed to. She's the bad guy. You're not supposed to like her. You're not, as a character. No, she's the bad guy. You're not that. We don't like anti-heroes.
Well, Vizsla, he let his ego get in the way, and it's the same issue with Maul. Maul has an ego too, and I mean, two egos, two alpha males, and it just doesn't work out.
and Savage too. I mean, Maul is an alpha male, but Savage is like big and imposing.
Yeah, but he's very compliant. He's just very.
He's just the muscle.
But I mean that's a scary part, though. I mean he's a scary looking guy. His horns are bigger than Maul's. He's physically bigger than Maul. I mean he's just.
He's got that big, double-bladed lightsaber that he swings around like a club.
You don't want to run into him in a dark alley kind of thing. So, anyway, my messenger keeps going off. It's driving me nuts. I need to turn it off. Anyway, so Maul gets arrested. Do you think that the arrest of Maul, do you think that was intentional on his part to get down? Because he gets down into the, or is this another, like you said, Debbie, another opportunity play? Because he got down, he was captured. He went to, gosh, I can't think of the guy's name. The old prime minister.
Almec,
yes. He met him in prison. And he's like, "What are you down here for?" "Oh well, he says, he's just as vile and corrupt as you." Something along that lines, I think, is what Satine said.
Mm-hmm. And Maul's like, "Bingo."
Interesting. We can use you. Yes.
I think that being him being arrested, I think that was a part of a plan. I don't think Maul thought Vizsla would take it that far, but yeah, he seizes the opportunity once he's down there. So, yeah.
But do you think that him meeting Almec and knowing how corrupt he ended up being, what could that have been part of the plan too?
No.
Well,
Because he didn't know that until Satine told him.
well,
He was just looking for somebody that
To
he
help
could
him.
use as a replacement because he was planning on taking out Vizsla, so he needed a replacement
I think Debbie froze.
for when that happened. So
There she-
yeah, when Satine told him that, Almec was just as cruel and crooked as he was, then yeah, perfect. And Maul could manipulate him easily.
So, again, it was another reactive stance to his plan, and I'll buy that. But I'm also thinking too, because we see so much throughout all of Star Wars, really, about how a Force-sensitive person, Anakin had visions of the future. You had Palpatine always saying, everything is going as I have foreseen it. So maybe in the back of Maul's mind, maybe he was kind of saying, okay, I need to get arrested, but there's something down there that I'm going to need. I don't know what it is yet, but something is down there. Something's in that area. I need to let this happen so that I can get down there and I can guess what it is.
Yeah. Typically, whenever I think about the supposed precognition and stuff that Jedi have, I don't think of it as them suddenly knowing something specific. It's not like a specific vision that they're having, not like Anakin was, at least. But I'm going to take it back to Rebels just for 1 second. In I think the very first episode, whenever Ezra and Hera are on the Ghost and they're trying to rescue Kanan, and Ezra kind of looks away for a second, and he says something is coming, and then like 2 seconds later, boom, Star Destroyer comes out of hyperspace. So I think their precognition is more of something is going on, something is over there.
It's like a spidey sense. I
Yeah.
don't know exactly what it is, but there's something happening.
A lot of the times, I'm never sure, and I think I mentioned this last week, that I think a lot of the times it was Palpatine putting that out there. I mean, I'm not saying every single time, but just like towards the end of the Lawless episode 16. I mean, all of a sudden, we haven't seen him this whole story arc, and then all of a sudden, boom, there he is, and he's like, "Get my ship ready," and it's like, Palpy knows all.
He's seen something.
But half the time, I think at least in the movies and maybe sometimes during Clone Wars, I think he was the one that gave Anakin his nightmares, and I think he was behind Rey, and even though Snoke said he was doing it, but I think really Palpy was behind it, between Kylo and Rey's force connection, or whatever you want to call that.
Their cell phone calls.
Or their FaceTime.
Their force booty calls.
Yeah. So I think a lot of the times, if Palpatine was around, or Sidious, I think he was behind a lot of the stuff, forcing things to happen. And
I feel like that's going to be how a lot of Star Wars is these days. It's like, if Palpatine exists somewhere in the galaxy, it was him.
Mm-hmm.
It's the multiverse. It's the multiverse of the Star Wars universe.
It'll be like the Kang War, where it's just a bunch of different Sidious variants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they doing this today? I don't know. Multiverse. Why not? Because we wanted to have a big CGI battle, and we got to have an excuse for it. Oh, multiverse, of course.
Young Luke steps out of a portal and he sees old Luke. And he's just like, okay, I can explain. Fade to black.
Anyway. So, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because Palpatine grabs his shuttle. He goes to Mandalore. And Maul's reaction, his initial reaction, I'm still trying to decide if that was him actually being sincere about what he was saying, or if that was him. Okay, I got to get rid of this guy, so I'm going to butter him up for a minute, and then
I think that's
I'm
what
going to
that
stab him in
was.
his back when he's not looking.
I think Maul was shaking in his boots.
And that's possible too. Maybe it was like, oh my gosh, he's here, and now I've got to act good because he's gonna kick my butt.
Yeah, well, because he told Sidious, I've built all this in hopes of returning to your side, but did Maul ever express any interest in returning to Sidious up until that point? Because as far as he was concerned, Sidious just kind of threw him away
Yeah.
and replaced
I
him.
think
So
he just said that, to make it sound like I've been doing this all for you. I wanted to get back into your good graces. Just to, kiss a little ass there and in hopes that, Sidious wouldn't, cut him in half or cut off his head or anything. So I think he just said that out of just pure survival mode.
Yeah. And then ensues what is arguably the greatest lightsaber battle of the Clone Wars, of the series, the Clone Wars, not the Clone Wars, but of the series, because you've got Palpatine fighting Savage and Maul, and basically just owning both of them. I mean, here's this tiny, decrepit little old man, and these two big, strong. One of them's half robot, for God's sakes, and one of them is imbued with Force magic to make him bigger, stronger, and more powerful. And Palpatine's just like, I can take you, bring it.
yeah, well, Palpatine's like Yoda in the fact that once he loses the cane,
Yeah.
that's when the fun starts.
Well, he pulls
Yeah.
out two lightsabers too, and
Yep.
because we've only ever seen him with one, and that was in Revenge of the Sith. So
Yeah, this was a really great scene, and it's probably one of my favorites from the Clone Wars, because in the movies and throughout all of Clone Wars, we've never seen Sidious really do battle. I mean, him taking out the Jedi, I don't know. That should have lasted a lot longer than it did, but
I definitely agree with you. But I think that the reason that scene in Revenge of the Sith was so just was one that they had to work with the fact that Ian McDiarmid is not capable of full contact, fighting like Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen were.
He can't flip out from behind the desk and do this spin move, and
surprisingly not.
Wow.
Go figure. It was a stunt double.
Well, I mean, they could have done some creative editing. I mean, have a
and
stunt.
they tried.
Well, and
they definitely tried
hard enough.
But see here, it doesn't work, because if you go back to Attack of the Clones, you've got Christopher Lee that's in the same boat. He's unable to do a lot of the action shots, and if you'll notice when he's dueling Yoda, a lot of that is like backed up shots, and really that's fine, because you've got his stunt double in there, and he's basically swinging around a CGI Yoda.
He's shadowboxing, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's not a big deal. But if you go back just a step further to where he's fighting Anakin, a lot of that duel is just close-ups on him and Anakin, and you just see the lightsaber swinging, and you just see them making their faces, and you don't really see the duel. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that, yes, Christopher Lee is old, and he can't pull off stuff like that anymore.
Well,
if you go back and you watch the duel with Windu and Sidious, and you watch Samuel L. Jackson, it is clear that Samuel L. Jackson is no swordsman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in that one shot where they're in Palpatine's office, and Palpatine does that backflip onto some podium or something and then flips off of it again. You watch Samuel L. Jackson in that shot, he's just going.
He's just swinging the swing.
I mean, he tries to make it look convincing, but my God, it's so bad.
Now, Debbie, I was going to say this too. If that scene had been any longer, that would have cut into Anakin and Obi-Wan's duel at the end. Just time-wise, that would have cut in. So,
I'm not saying it make it a 20-minute duel like Obi and Anakin, but I mean, they could have made it a couple minutes.
They could have given the Jedi a fighting chance. I mean,
yeah,
but it's what the fans wanted.
I guess, if you look at the scene, they're in a very cramped room because it's his
office.
It's his office, and it's just like, all the Jedi are standing right there at the, I guess, steps or whatever you want to call it, that walks down into his office. But I mean, they're just all bunched together, and I guess it would make it easier to take them all out at once. But yeah, I was disappointed with that scene because I was expecting a little bit more. It didn't have to be 20 minutes, but just a little bit more.
All right, fine. Anyway, so we got the cool. Now, something that we skipped over, and I kind of wanted to save these last two items for the end, just because they're so poignant to today's Star Wars universe, and that is the first one being the Darksaber, because the Darksaber obviously makes an appearance here. Pre Vizsla's wielding it, then Maul challenges him to open combat, and now Maul has claimed the Darksaber. So,
pretty fun duel, by the way.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
lots of fun. And obviously Vizsla knew what he was doing because he wielded it just fine. The mythos of the Darksaber was where it started, in my opinion, because you've got in the Mandalorian now to where Bo-Katan is saying, "Oh, it can only be one. You can't just give it to me. It's got to be one," even though Sabine gave it to her in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, whatever. She didn't win it, but the mythos was stepped on. See, I told you Rebels was bad.
It took a couple of days, but then one day she was like, "Wait a minute, that's illegal."
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that." Oh well.
And the thing was, she was there and witnessed the whole
with Maul. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, maybe she just had selective memory or something.
Multiverse.
Oh yeah, multiverse. That's the answer. Oh, it's Palpatine. Palpatine did it.
Of course. Then you find out that Bo-Katan was just a clone.
Mm.
Oh, that explains. Oh, of course. She was a shapeshifter alien just taking her. She didn't know any better. She was a Skrull. Yeah.
Oh yes, of course.
We'll go with that.
And Samuel L. Jackson comes out and says, "I'd like to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative."
Yeah.
Crossover. Yes.
The internet would explode.
Oh yeah. Oh, and honestly, it does not matter how bad that movie is. It would make a friggin' fortune in its opening weekend.
Of course.
Weekend. It'd be like in the billions on opening weekend, and then everybody would say, "Oh, this was crap," and they'd stop going. But then they'd sell all the Blu-rays and the DVDs and all the merchandise and everything, and sit there counting their money, going, "Yes, foolish mortals." Anyway, so we've got the Darksaber, we've got the start of the mythos, and then we've got Satine.
Oh, poor Satine.
I think this one hit a lot harder now. mainly because Kenobi has had his series. You've kind of seen him and how he deals with um, depression. Is that a good way to put it? Um, and and honestly, so Maul impales her, and it's almost like the Kenobi series too, to where he says to Kenobi, I'm gonna make you feel pain. I'm gonna do basically like Darth Vader said to Kenobi. He's like, I'm gonna do to you what you did to me,
Mhm.
and drags him through the fire, and or just kills somebody in front of him, and somebody that if you didn't think that Obi-Wan and Satine had a thing before, and then you watch this episode, you can't watch this episode and tell me, oh no, they didn't have a thing, because I'm going to call bullcrap. There is no way that they did not have some kind of
Yeah, and
un-Jedi like relationship.
there was a big theory because we see the nephew Corky,
Mhm.
and the big theory was that was actually Kenobi's son. He just didn't know it. I don't know. I don't see the resemblance, but
Well, if you go back and you watch the show with subtitles, there's
Watch it frame by frame.
as Satine is dying and she says, "Obi-Wan, I always loved you," in very small text just underneath, like a brother.
Oh no, Obi-Wan's not in the friend zone. It doesn't happen. No, you can't put him there.
yeah, I think
Your Satine theory sucks.
I think one of the books, because it just dawned on me, I wish I would have thought of it earlier because I would have looked up the book, but I think one of the books hits on his relationship with Satine. They were on a different planet or whatever. I think it was before she was Duchess or whatever, but they hit on it, and it was very heavily implied in that book that there was some Vodio Dodoing going on. So
I think you might be talking about Brotherhood, because their relationship was touched on in there. Like it was hinted at in there that she's the reason, or she gave him the name Ben for some reason.
this was an EU book.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember reading that years ago.
Now,
But yeah, Brotherhood does touch on it. Yeah.
Is it canon then, or is this one of the older EU books that's now Legends?
Well, but Brotherhood's canon, definitely, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure what book you're talking about, Debbie.
I don't either, because I don't remember, and
Maybe it was one of
your
the
brain and
because Debbie reads the regular books and the comic books too, so maybe it fell into one of those comic book ones. But
it's so much to read, and then with my puny pea-sized brain to try and remember it all is virtually impossible. I know people that can just rip off that stuff. That's why I take notes, people.
Yep.
I need to do that on my books.
Notorious. So and this really, my theory, and obviously it's backed slightly by several different sources, that Obi-Wan and Satine, because you've got this whole movement going on now to where they're saying, oh, Obi-Wan Kenobi was what is it? Not asexual.
Pansexual.
Pansexual. I don't know the term.
I heard bi, and I was just like, "Come on, don't."
Well, I look at that. I look at it as, okay. One, I don't see that. I can see Obi-Wan being with Satine, and I can see Obi-Wan having Satine killed in front of him, and then I can see him saying, "That was it. It's not. I'm not going to find anybody else. So celibate. I'm completely celibate. I'm gonna focus on my Jedi stuff and just be the monk that I'm supposed to be, and that's just a part of my past now."
Yeah, I think that was his one true love, because he even told her in different episode of Clone Wars that all she had to do was say the word, and he would have left the order for her. Yeah. So I think that they were soulmates.
Well, I mean, you think about it. You have a beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed Duchess of an entire planet. Where do you go from there?
Well, but she's a Mandalore too, and he's a Jedi, and they hate each other. I mean, in theory, there's bad blood there. Maybe they don't hate each other, but there's bad blood. You know that there is, just based on the lore. I mean, you had Mandalore the Great, who was a Jedi and a Mandalorian. He forged the Darksaber. So, and yes, Debbie, I'm with you 100% to where it's like, who cares? Tell me a good story. I don't need to know what the sexual orientation of the characters are. It's not vital to the story. Why is this even coming up?
Yeah, that's the way I look at these things. I'm all for inclusion. I'm all for representation and all that, but make it relevant to the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Make it relevant. Yep. Don't
Well,
shove it in my face. I get it.
My issue with this, and it's happened in several different places and different fandoms where they take a very well-known character and then all of a sudden they're whatever, and that just bugs the shit out of me. I'm like, if you want to bring somebody in like that, make it a new character and make them the way you want them to
Start
be.
them off that way. Don't change.
Yeah, start
Don't
them off
change
that
existing.
way. Don't take a character that's been known for 40 freaking years or more, no matter what the fandom, and then all of a sudden just say, well, he's bi or pan or
It's like, who are you,
whatever.
J.K. Rowling?
Oh God, yeah, that one I wasn't pleased with either. So yeah, I just don't like it when they do that. Come up with a brand new character and start them off that way from the get-go.
Stephanie, you got that one out there quick.
I was listening. I was listening to an audiobook a couple of years ago. The plot synopsis sounded interesting. It was a space opera type book, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna listen to this. Well, there was a character in there, and that character's entire identity was built around the fact that they were trans or something like that. Nothing to that character except every time the character was mentioned, it was always mentioned that they were trans, and so, and it was just tedious at first, but then it's like, I'm 7 hours into this book and nothing's happened. It's just been characters being introduced. Like, literally, that's all that book was just introducing characters to the story. And it's like, wait, what story?
Was it a George R.R. Martin novel? Or
no,
L. Ron Hubbard wrote
maybe a Tolkien novel.
But honestly, with the length of the book, it might as well have been a Tolkien novel. I mean,
it was numbers from the Bible, wasn't it? Because that's where they just go through and name everybody.
But I mean, if you ever feel like checking it out, by all means, please do. I believe it's called A Pale Light in the Dark. But 7 hours into that book, I had no idea where that title came from because nothing happened.
Pale Light in the Dark. Hang on, I got to write that down. I don't think I'll ever read it, but just in case.
Explore at your peril.
Yeah.
If it's not Star Wars or, well,
no, Star Wars.
Star Wars is. I used to read Star Wars, Star Trek, Stephen King, back in my younger days. I used to have all the books and everything, and now it's just Star Wars. Just basically rereading the EU Legends or whatever you want to call them. And
read Dean Koontz, Dragon Tears. I love that book.
Oh, I had a bunch of his books. I had a bunch of Iris Johansson books.
Dean Koontz he wrote books that I'd sit there and I'd be in the book and I'd have to put it down and walk away and think, okay, this is not real. This is not happening. Because, I mean, seriously, it was scaring me. It was frightening me in my mind so bad that I was just like, all right, gotta walk away. Don't need bad dreams tonight. I like his books.
I've been reading a lot of Jonathan Mayberry. He's really, really good. And honestly, Dave, since you were in the military, I think you might like a lot of his work. Yeah, I mean, it's all adult fiction. Sometimes he kind of goes into fantasy, sometimes he does other things, but most of his work has been like, military spec ops type stuff, and he is one of my all-time favorite authors. He is fantastic. I think you'd like him.
Okay. I'll like I said, I got to get back to reading. I've got The Force Awakens, Solo, The Rise of Skywalker, and The Last Jedi, and Rogue One. I've got all of the novels. I've got all of the novels from all of the movies, but I have picked up those 5 novels, and I'm about halfway through each one of them because I'll read for a little bit and then I'll stop, and I just haven't sat down and finished any of them, and it's like,
The hell is wrong with
I
you?
don't know.
Listen to audiobooks.
There's good things on TV. I don't know.
Audiobooks are easier to incorporate into your day.
No, I don't drive long enough to. I live like 3 minutes from work, so.
Well, that's 6 minutes worth of audiobook per day that you could be getting.
You sit at your desk when you're not giving vaccinations, and anyway. Debbie, have we missed anything in this arc?
Let me look.
Look at your notes and tell me if I
Look at my notes.
I will say this because they gave Obi-Wan Kenobi a jetpack, and they said, "Do you know how to use this?" And he said, "Well, I'm a quick learner."
Awkward.
But I got to thinking about that too, and I was like, you know what though, that's not the first time that this has happened, because I think Ezra had issues with it in Rebels, and then even the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, he had issues with it too, to where she was like, "Hey, have you been training? Do you know you're training? Are you there?" So,
we did learn that Bo was Satine's sister. Well, Kenobi learns. I think we kind of suspected it in previous episodes, but yeah, he learns that they were sisters. And just on a side note, sorry, I felt a hair on my face. Chewy, damn it. At the beginning of, I believe, the beginning of this third, or the beginning of episode 16, I believe it was dedicated to Ian Abercrombie, who had been voicing Palpatine and Sidious's voice throughout this whole series. And I think he died before. Well, he died like a year before this season was put out. But it's interesting that, and I did not know this. I was kind of shocked. I don't ever think I ever heard this, but I think when Sidious, not Palpatine, but when Sidious goes to face Maul and Savage, that was actually Tim Curry.
really?
Voicing
Tim Curry?
Wow.
It's uncredited, but from that point on, Tim Curry in other seasons did Sidious's voice, which I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that. But if you listen closely, because I had to go back and listen to that when they're dueling and Sidious is talking and whatnot, I was like, yeah, that is Tim Curry. I mean, you can just hear him just a little bit coming out, but yeah, he does a great Sidious. I mean, he has that. He can do evil, as we know. Wow. So
I'm gonna have to. Okay, all right, good little nugget of knowledge. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that now.
I thought it was too. Yeah.
We were actually, my son and Luke and I were actually talking about Tim Curry the other day because we were watching Clue, and I've always said that there has not been a good movie based on a game ever. You know, Mario Brothers, the Resident Evil movies, but Clue worked.
Laura Croft, Tomb Raider? The first one, not
Oh,
the next ones.
nothing good. Nothing good.
Really?
And my brother will argue with me too. Hi, Jonathan. He'll say Sonic the Hedgehog, which
I like those movies. They're good. They're cute.
It was okay. It was like, it was like I thought with the latest Batman movie. It was like, well, there's a movie. It's not mind bending, and it's not the greatest thing I've ever seen, but it wasn't horrible. It was just.
You didn't like the Batman?
I didn't say I didn't like the Batman. I just said I was unimpressed with the Batman. I didn't love the Batman. I liked it. I didn't love it.
You're weird. Oh yeah, Jumanji. Robin Williams, come on!
Wait, did the game come out before the movie?
I don't know. I have to look at that one because I'm thinking the game
I think
came out
so.
because of the movie.
I honestly don't remember.
And
Where's my
honestly,
phone?
everybody look it up real quick. No.
Look it up, Steph.
Yeah, Stephanie, let us know. We'll hold on for you.
No, if you. Oh, sorry. No. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say because if you want to say Jumanji, yeah, the first one I haven't seen the second one with The Rock, but the first one with The Rock and Kevin Hart and Jack Black, Welcome to the Jungle, I think was it, where they were doing it. It was a video game, not a board game. I enjoyed that. That was fun. It was a popcorn movie. That was a guilty pleasure movie. I'm gonna go see it. Why? Because it's got The Rock in it, and I want to sit in the theater and eat popcorn. What could go wrong?
Now, if you guys ever want to watch really bad game adaptation movies,
there you go, Debbie. The game is based on the movie, according to Google.
But it's still a game.
No. But that doesn't count.
It changes the dynamic.
A movie based on a game, not a game based on a movie that's based on a game.
Fight me.
A game based on a movie that's based on a game. Yeah. Yes, that's right. 1 + 2 + 1 + 1.
-10 multiplied by something. Yeah, I thought the first Sonic was better than the second one. I still like the second one, but I thought the first one was better. I liked Laura Croft Tomb Raider. Did not care for the second one. I mean, I still watch it, but it's not my favorite. And I have yet to see I think they had a reboot a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I have.
Oh, Laura Croft, you mean?
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
I thought right before the pandemic.
I thought Angelina Jolie did a good job, even though I am not a fan of hers. But I thought she did a good job with that.
There are definitely 90s movies.
I mean, see, even Uncharted. I
just watched that.
Yes, was it any good? I didn't play the game, so I have no.
Yeah, I don't know if it matches up with the game or not, but I enjoyed it. It reminded me of a little bit of Goonies and a little bit of National Treasure. Nicolas Cage. That's what it reminded me of.
Okay.
Although I would say I don't think it's as good as National Treasure because I love those movies.
What about Super Mario Brothers with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo and Dennis Hopper?
I don't think I might have taken my kids to see those movies, but I don't remember watching them.
It was horrible. Every actor involved in that has said, "Oh, we shouldn't have done this."
What's your name? Mario. And your last name? Mario.
It's the Mario.
God. The only good thing that came from that movie was King Koopa pointing and going, "Monkey."
All right. We are way off track, and we're enjoying it too. I hope you're watching.
Nothing wrong with going off the rails.
We went way off the rails. We do talk about Star Wars on the show. If you're just joining us, we do talk about Star Wars.
What, you didn't hear about the Darth Maul and Mario crossover? Come on.
Maul's going to be the next character on Super Smash Brothers. That's what it is. They're building the Super Smash Brothers universe. You know, they did Detective Pikachu. Now they got Sonic. Mario's coming out with Chris Pratt. They're building the universe. They're going to make Super Smash Brothers the movie.
Now that I'll watch.
What kind of story they're gonna tell with it, I'm not quite sure. Because it's just everybody fighting each other. But sure, why not? Anyway, we need to talk about Star Wars. So, anything else, Debbie? Cam?
That was it. I just wanted to mention Tim Curry because I love Tim Curry.
Everybody loves Tim Curry.
Who doesn't love Tim Curry?
I'm sure there's people.
Well, they're wrong.
I know, very wrong.
And unfortunately, one of the greatest movies that I think he's in, I just can't watch it anymore.
What's that?
Legend with Tom Cruise. It's got Tom Cruise in it. Well, he's very young, Tom Cruise. I mean, we're talking like early 80s.
I almost thought you were talking about Legend with Tom Hardy. I was gonna be like, Tim Curry wasn't in that.
Back up about 40 years. So,
well, I thought you, before you said the name, I thought you were going to say Rocky Horror because I was going to have to smack you.
No, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. There you go.
You have or you haven't?
Huh? No, I've seen it. I saw it
once.
Yeah, it was okay. I didn't understand. I don't get the.
Oh my god.
Okay, I don't get the charisma of everybody dressing up and going to a theater to watch it. But I'll dress up and go to a theater to watch Star Wars. So
see, that makes no sense.
It's just not my cup of tea.
But with Rocky Horror, you participated. When it rained, everybody had spray bottles, and when they were throwing rice or whatever, in the movie, everybody was throwing popcorn. And when they do the time warp dance, everybody in the aisles.
Everybody does the time warp again.
Yes. Back in the day, I used to go to the midnight showings every Friday night.
Don't embarrass Stephanie now. You're gonna embarrass.
I think I told Stephanie this.
I can't see. My mom did that. What?
Say what, Mom? Don't embarrass me.
Mom's embarrassing me.
I gave her own spray bottle to bring with us.
I was cool at one time. It was cool to do that back then. So at one time or another, I was cool. So
all right.
Short period in my lifetime. Lord.
Okay, so shameless plugs. Do we have anything shameless to plug this week?
Well,
MCU Mondays.
I assume we're going to do what we were going to do this Monday, but then Chris had an emergency. It's not exactly a Marvel, but we were going to talk about the implosion that is the DC universe.
Wah, wah, wah.
Although I will say this about Marvel Mondays, and Chris, if you're watching, or if you watch later, I Am Groot was released yesterday.
I watched it.
We watched all 5 episodes in the time from when we woke up to when we left for school and work and whatnot. So it was cute and funny, and
it was very cute. Way too short. Way too short.
Oh, no. I thought it was perfect. I think that's one of those ones where that amount of 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, that's
no,
all you can
it was 3 minutes of actual Groot and then 3 minutes of credits. So 6 minutes total, but it was only 3 minutes of Groot. So
all right.
It needed to be I'm not saying a half-hour show, but I mean, come on. You could have made it 10 minutes of
Kevin
Groot.
Feige, if you're watching, I personally thought it was the perfect time. So anyway, Cam, shameless plugs.
Cam and Focus coming out. Business as usual. However, I do have an announcement to make with this upcoming episode, which will be in the episode. I'm not going to say it here. You got to go watch it and give me the view so you can hear it.
Go watch Cam and Focus.
You don't even get a hint about what it's about? Or are you going to offend us all if you say it?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to offend anybody. Are you talking about the episode or the announcement?
Oh,
wait a minute. There he is.
Typical.
Oh, he lost him again. Wow, that was awful.
Wow.
You almost got it out. All right.
Coincidence? I think not.
I don't think so. Oh, wait, hang on. Here he is.
Why do you do this to me?
I didn't do anything. You moved your phone. I think that you moved the phone and it moved out of signal. That's what it was.
Out of signal? I'm in my bedroom.
I could tell there the last probably 30 seconds of you there, you were getting very blurry. So I was like, oh, it's time for him to.
Oh yeah, it's been an hour, so yeah. It was time for you to get booted, anyways.
I guess.
So, all right, Cam and Focus coming up. Big announcement. Go watch Cam and Focus on the YouTube channel. You can also watch Debbie and myself on MCU Mondays here on this channel, also on the Geek News Now YouTube channel. Check out geeknewsnow.net. A lot of amazing articles, a lot of great content there. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
Twitter.
We're everywhere. Go just look for Geek News Now or GNN. I think it's at GNN_official for Twitter. It's a lot. Just look for Geek News Now. You'll find it.
Come find our Christian Mingle page.
Yes, that's right. We have Christian Mingle right next to the OnlyFans page. That's it for us. I'm David, your host. Come back and join us next week, and we will see you then. May the force be with you all.